Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we're going to be talking about an expansion!
So this is the new expansion for Architects of the West Kingdom. This is Age of Artisans. And we really liked Architects of the West Kingdom. If you want to check out our previous review of that to see how that plays and what that looks like, this we're going to talk about is all the new things this adds. And there's a ton of cool stuff that it adds. So let's take a look. Alright, so we are looking at the board for Architects of the West Kingdom with the Age of Artisans expansion already all laid out. There's a couple new things that I want to talk about. If you want to learn how to play the game or see how it works, go check out our review of the original game, Architects of the West Kingdom. I'm mainly going to talk about the differences between that, or the differences that this adds to that game. At the top of the board, you're going to see a row of cards. Those are called the craft cards. You can use them either as adornments as on top of buildings, or you can use them as tools with the apprentices. Here's one close-up. Basically, the top half is going to tell you what happens when you add it onto a building. This one says, you get to draw 2 of those cards, and it's worth 4 points at the end of the game. This one says when you add it onto a person as a tool, whenever you take whatever action is assigned to that apprentice, you're going to get an extra brick. And the question mark refers to the victory points. So you also have this really handy little player aid that kind of goes over some of the new concepts of the game. And at the bottom here, it tells you the more of those tools you have, the more points you're going to get at the end of the game. Another nice part about this game is the new guild hall tile. It replaces the old guild hall and basically has these nice recessed pieces in here so you can put a meeple in there whenever you build a building or contribute to the cathedral. But also, as you can see, it mentions how you can stack meeples on top of each other to build either those tools or those adornments. So you'd stack it on top, and that's how you indicate to build one of those. Also, on that new guild hall tile, you can see that kind of those blue X's there. Basically, when you build the third column of each row, it says remove the first 2 of these blue apprentices. Basically, kind of helps refresh the game a little bit. You can see more of the different characters as they come out, and might tailor suit that to what you're looking for. There are other ways and other card effects that allow you to get some of those adornments and tools, but one of the main ways, they added a little card on the board here that shows you you can go to the black market, and instead of getting just one of the apprentices, you can also instead get one of those tools that the apprentices can use. This also comes with a new player color. There's the orange player with all the bits that you need to play with the orange player. So the game technically does play up to 6 now, although it does go a little bit longer at the max player count. The next thing this expansion adds is the artisans. So we've got our normal meeples here, but then also we have our larger artisans. Basically, when they go to an action spot, they count as though you were playing 2 people at the same time. So for instance, if you went to the forest with the artisan, you would get to take 2 wood immediately. There are a ton of new player mats, and on the back side, of course, are all the different new abilities. This is the kind of the variant play that has different starting resources and different player powers. I recommend using those. That's one of my favorite parts of this game, and there's a whole lot more to explore here. The last thing I want to show you is possibly the thing I'm the most excited about, which is the score pad. This was something that was really missing from the original Architects of the West Kingdom. The scorecard was definitely a nice addition to the Age of Artisans expansion. We really appreciated that they put that in the game. Alright, let's go back and hear our thoughts on this new expansion.
So you get a ton of new cards in this game. You get extra building cards, and there's more apprentices. But I love the crafting cards. I love cards that you have to choose what resource of the card you're going to use, and so I like how you have to choose if you want to use it as a tool or as an adornment. It's good. I liked it.
I like the addition of the artisan, that extra large meeple. Basically, it's first of all, it's an extra meeple to work with, and he counts for double, which is fantastic. Gets you going a little bit faster, and he also gets to avoid some of the negative losses of virtue that would happen if you go to, like, let's say, the black market or the tax stand or something like that. So I really like the using of the artisan.
So of course, because I really like the crafting cards, I really loved the recessed board for the guild hall. It's a really simple thing. They didn't have to do it, but I love that they did. We have kids. We like things that stay in their place in case the table gets hit, and it did.
We always play with the variable player powers on the back of the side of the boards, extra starting resources or variable starting resources, extra player powers. This added a whole bunch of new ones to explore. Those have been really fun to play with.
Yeah, sometimes you start with 6 people in prison.
Yeah, and sometimes you start with a whole bunch of extra money too.
I totally did. So I think one of the positives about this expansion is that what it adds doesn't change the game, really, not that much. The amount of time it takes to play, or even the amount of time it would take to teach, doesn't really change that much. Essentially, if we were to teach this game to somebody new, we would teach it with the expansion. There's no reason not to. It's easy to integrate into everything. The new mechanics or the new concepts really aren't that different. It doesn't change the game a lot, but it does give it a little bit more options.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could just play this, even with having all the expansion stuff integrated in with the board. You could just play it, your same normal Architects of the West Kingdom strategies that you normally would use. And you wouldn't win. There's points mixed in with all these new mechanics. And at the same time, why would you want to? This stuff is a lot of fun. But I'm just saying you could, in theory, just ignore all of that, all this new stuff. So is this a must-have expansion? I'd say probably not. But if you're an Architects fan, I think you're going to want all the extra cool stuff that it adds on. There's just a lot of really neat concepts they mixed in here. I also love that they added on the new player color of the orange. But just because there's the option to play with 6 players, maybe doesn't mean you necessarily should play with 6 players.
Well, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews videos as they come out, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews, or you can follow us on Facebook under Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
We are on Twitter at Ryan and Bethany 1, and we are on Instagram at Ryan and Bethany. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.